When someone hurts you, it's crucial to understand that their actions don't define you. In fact, their words or behavior are just a reflection of where they are in their life, not a reflection of who you are as a person. If you let the hurt dictate your emotions, you've handed them the power to control you. But here's the thing, the greatest confusion you can cause someone who's trying to hurt you is to rise above it and take ownership of your own power. Imagine this, a person tries to bring you down with their actions, hoping that you'll react with anger, frustration, or even sadness. They want to see you crumble, to see your sense of self-worth shaken. But when you refuse to be affected, when you don't give them that emotional response, it confuses them in ways they can't even comprehend. They expected you to fall apart, to fight back, or to retreat in pain, but instead, you choose a different path. You choose to stay calm, stay grounded, and stay focused on your own inner strength. That's the power you hold within you, the power to control your own emotions, your own response. No matter what someone else does, you get to decide how you react. You decide whether or not you'll let their negativity impact your peace of mind. You decide if you'll let their hurtful actions penetrate your heart. And let me tell you, when you take that ownership, it becomes incredibly difficult for anyone to shake you. It's all about perspective. People will try to hurt you. It's inevitable. But how you choose to respond to that hurt will determine not only your emotional well-being, but also your growth and strength as an individual. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the more resilient you get. You start to understand that nothing, absolutely nothing, is worth sacrificing your peace for. So when someone tries to hurt you, don't give them the power to take anything away from you. Instead, rise above it, show them that their words or actions don't define your worth, and leave them to wonder why you can't be shaken. Your response is the greatest weapon you have in maintaining your inner peace and your sense of self. When someone hurts you, it's natural to want to react, to defend yourself, to strike back. It's human to feel the sting of the words or actions they throw at you and to want to fire back with equal force. But here's the secret. The most powerful thing you can do in that moment is not to react at all. In fact, the greatest way to confuse someone who's tried to hurt you is by responding with calm and clarity, not with emotion or reaction. You see, the world expects you to act out when someone hurts you. They expect the drama, the fight, the chaos that follows an emotional attack. They expect you to fall into the trap of showing your pain. But what happens when you don't give them that? What happens when you don't give them the emotional response they're looking for? You confuse them because they can't understand why they didn't get the reaction they anticipated. So they expected a battle, but instead they get peace. And that's when the real power lies in your hands. This doesn't mean that you suppress your emotions or ignore your feelings. It means that you take control of them. You have the choice to step back and choose how you respond. Instead of feeding into the emotional turmoil, you step above it and choose to focus on something greater than the conflict at hand, your own emotional stability and peace. This is what confounds others. They can't understand why you aren't shaking with anger or hurt. They can't understand why you're not retaliating. By choosing peace over conflict, you are demonstrating that you are not a prisoner to your emotions, nor are you a prisoner to anyone else's behavior. You control the narrative. You set the tone. You teach them that their actions no longer have the power to dictate your state of mind. And in doing so, you're showing them something they will never forget, that you are someone who is emotionally mature and grounded enough to handle any situation without letting it pull you down into negativity. The true power is not in reacting, it's in choosing your response. And when you do that, you stand in a place of unimaginable strength. When someone hurts you, it's often an attempt to make you question your self-worth. People who lash out are usually struggling with their own issues, insecurities, or unresolved pain. They want to make you feel small, to knock you off your pedestal, and force you to doubt your own value. But here's the truth. No one can take away your self-worth unless you let them. In fact, the most confusing thing you can do to someone who's trying to hurt you is to stand firm in the belief that you are enough just as you are. The moment you recognize your own value, you are no longer susceptible to the attacks of others. You no longer need external validation to feel good about yourself. Whether someone insults you, ignores you, or tries to manipulate you, it won't have the same effect because you know who you are. You are not defined by their perception of you. You are not defined by what they think, say, or do. You are defined by your own standards, your own beliefs, and your own actions. When you walk into any situation with the confidence that you are worthy of respect, love, and success, you begin to radiate that energy. People can sense that confidence, and they may try to push your buttons or hurt you because they can see that you are not like everyone else. You've set boundaries. You've established your worth. And when someone crosses that line, they are no longer affecting you the way they think they are. This is where the confusion begins. People expect you to respond to their hurtful behavior with anger, frustration, or self-doubt. They expect you to shrink, to take on the role of the victim. But when you refuse to play that role, when you hold your head high and continue to move forward with your life, they're left with no ammunition. They're left wondering how they couldn't shake you, how you remain unfazed by their actions. And that confusion is a reflection of your inner strength. Remember, your worth doesn't come from the opinions of others. It comes from understanding that you are enough just as you are. You have the power to decide what affects you and what doesn't. When you choose to stay grounded in your own self-worth, you become an unstoppable force that cannot be shaken by anyone or anything. And that is a power that no one can take from you. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can wield in moments of hurt. It's counterintuitive, I know. When someone hurts you, your first instinct is to speak up, to defend yourself, to make them understand how much they've hurt you. But here's the truth. Silence speaks louder than any words you could ever say in that moment. When someone tries to provoke you, to pull you into an emotional battle, and you choose not to react, you're not being passive, you're being strategic. You're creating space between their actions and your response. This pause, this silence, forces both you and them to stop and reflect. It prevents the situation from escalating and gives you time to regain your clarity. It also leaves them wondering why you haven't engaged. Why aren't you arguing? Why aren't you fighting back? Most people are so used to conflict, so accustomed to getting an emotional reaction from others, that when they don't get one from you, it throws them off balance. They start questioning themselves. Why didn't this affect them? What's going on here? It's like you've taken the fuel away from their fire, leaving them confused and disarmed. The beauty of silence is that it doesn't require any effort from you. It doesn't involve sinking to their level or adding to the drama. Instead, you rise above it. You're teaching them that your peace is not something they can disrupt. When you remain calm and silent, that silence becomes a statement in itself, one that says, I am above this and I won't engage in your negativity. When someone hurts you, it can be easy to respond with anger or resentment. But here's the truth. Responding with compassion is one of the most powerful things you can do. It might seem like the last thing you want to do in that moment, especially when someone has deeply wounded you, but compassion disarms in ways that nothing else can. You have to remember that hurt people hurt people. Often when someone lashes out or tries to bring you down, it's because they're dealing with their own unresolved pain, frustration, or insecurity. Instead of meeting their hurt with your own anger or defensiveness, respond with compassion. You don't have to tolerate their behavior, but you can understand that their actions are a reflection of their own struggles, not a reflection of your worth. By showing compassion, you take the power away from their negative energy. You show them that their attempt to hurt you will not lower you to their level. Instead of getting caught in the whirlwind of their emotions, you respond with a calm, empathetic energy that creates space for healing, for understanding, and for growth. This will likely confuse them because it's not the reaction they expected. They were looking for conflict, but instead they encounter peace and understanding. When you choose compassion, you also protect your own energy. You don't let their negativity seep into your soul. You hold your peace, and in doing so, you leave them with nothing but the need to reflect on their own actions. Compassion doesn't mean you're weak or letting someone walk over you. It means you are strong enough to rise above their hurt and show them a better way to handle conflict. It's the most powerful way to respond to anyone who tries to hurt you. In conclusion, when a woman hurts you, the most powerful thing you can do is not to react in the way they expect. You don't need to fight back, seek revenge, or allow their actions to dictate your emotional state. Instead, take control of your own response. Own your power by rising above the hurt and choosing peace over conflict. When you choose not to react emotionally, but instead respond with calm, confidence, and compassion, you confuse them in the most powerful way.